Hey, Cowboy Nation, just Cowboys Abroad. Just want to have a little conversation with you about football. And this particular conversation is not necessarily Cowboy specific. This is in regards to the game of football in itself. Um, we're getting ready to report to camp. I think camp starts on the 27th of July. We're getting ready to report to camp. When we're doing so, we need to understand that the game as we know as football changes just a little bit every year. Every year, the rules are reviewed, and a committee is formed, and they make decisions of how they're going to proceed as far as rule changes are concerned um, in the NFL. And so, whereas this is not specifically Dallas Cowboys topic, we do need to talk about the 2019 rule changes because they certainly impact the Dallas Cowboys and as well as the other 31 teams in the NFL. They impact us. And the first thing is that we should know is that the crazy kickoff rules that uh, they had last season, they've decided to make those permanent. So all the kickoff rules from last season um, are now permanent. The second thing I want to go into, is um, we're talking about the kickoff rules from last season. As you may remember, that they were initially an experiment. The league said we're gonna experiment for this thing for a year and see how it goes. And if we like these rule changes and we get the expected outcome, then we will make them permanent. And the kickoff rules were then made a permanent. Well, I say all that to say that the NFL is doing another experiment this season. This season, the NFL is experimenting with the replay, instant replay, specifically when it comes to pass interference calls. This season, and for 1 year only, at least at this time, any pass interference call or non-call may be reviewed um, with automatic replay. This includes scoring plays and turnovers negotiated by foul and any try attempt, such as an extra point or 2-point conversion. Um, so if you look right here, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about, Cowboy Nation, and that for 1 year only, instant replay when it comes to passing interference, whether it's called or not called, will be reviewed. Now, many NFL fans remember the playoff game between the Saints and the Rams and the non-call that kind of led to this. However, there's been many, in my opinion, non-calls as well as um, calls that I wouldn't necessarily consider pass interference. And so to have this opportunity to see how reviewing all pass interference calls may actually be a good thing uh, for the league and certainly for the Dallas Cowboys um, to give us a chance to right some wrongs, or at least not have blatantly obvious calls impact the outcome of what may be considered a vital or essential game or a playoff game or a marquee matchup game or things of that nature. I think the officiating need to be on par. Uh, and they have a role to play. And I think that we need to get it right. We need to get the calls right on the field. Another rule this year, I think that's important that we take a look at is Number 2 up here, it simply says expands protection to a defenseless player. What that means, Cowboy Nation, in plain English, is that the NFL has decided to declare war against all blindside hits. So any blindside hits on the field will be a 15-yard penalty. I'll say that again. Any blindside hits will be a 15-yard personal foul anywhere on the field. So that's what that means. The other thing is, if we're talking about touchdowns, and sometimes in touchdowns you have teams that take it a little too far. They end up with unsportsmanlike conducts and things like that when they score a touchdown. The league has a new rule change to where that 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty now can be enforced either on the PAT, or the extra point try, or on the ensuing kickoff. So when you get ready to kick the ball off, when you get ready to kick the ball off, you can take it then, you can take it when they do the extra point try. And so it gives the opposition a little bit more flexibility in how they manage that thing. If you have a weak field goal kicker, maybe they elect to take it on the PAT. Otherwise, they may take it on the ensuing kickoff and put you in a bad position when you're kicking the ball off to where they flip field position and give themselves better field positions due to stupidity. The way you avoid that, of course, is to avoid the unsportsmanlike conduct in the end zone on scoring plays. You just act like you've been there before, act like a professional, and you won't find yourself in this particular situation. Now, if you're looking for what I'm talking about, you'll find this is here in rule change number 5. It's where you will find what I just mentioned. Now, the last particular rule change I want to talk about is this rule change number 16 here. This rule change number 16 allow league personnel to disqualify for both flagrant football and non-football acts. So for football-related activities and non-football-related activities, you can now be disqualified, or thrown out of a game, which could really put your team in a bad position. Don't want that to happen. But that's essentially saying you can be ejected for football and non-football acts. And so the NFL wants you to act like a professional, to be a professional athlete, be a professional entertainer. This is a billion dollar sport, and NFL has a lot of partnerships, and this is a family oriented entertainment franchise as much as it is a sports franchise, and they want their athletes to be professionals, and some of these rules are also generated to improve the safety of the game, because they are paying a significant amount of money to these players, and they don't want the investment in their assets to go to waste. They want the key and marquee players to stay on the field, everybody to stay healthy, be safe, play the game, and so you can entertain for the millions of NFL fans that's out there watching on TV and in the stands, and the thousands of fans that's in the stands. Um, so that's kind of what it is. Those are just some rule changes that we need to be on the lookout for. We need to understand and know going into camp. Um, the first thing I would say is that generally when they have these rule changes, they send referees around to these NFL camps to make sure the players know the rules and know how they're going to be enforcing these particular rules. And so it is not a secret to the players, not a secret to the organization. Certainly known throughout the NFL, the 2019 rule changes. And so when there's a violation of these rules, one of these calls is made, the NFL player and the organization doesn't have the excuse of saying we didn't know that was a rule change. We didn't know that you can no longer do that. There's just simply no excuse. There's simply no excuses because the NFL does do a job, a significant job of publicizing the rule changes. These particular rule changes were approved back in March. Back in March, I believe March 26th, these rule changes were approved, publicized, and publicized. And so teams have had a little time to digest them and consider these rule changes. Certainly, when they create their training programs, and they train the athletes, and they go into these camps, they certainly um, know that they're going to have to coach and teach and train the players to play a little different. Particularly the one I can see getting people in trouble uh, is to hit some defensive players. Even though the league has been trying to eliminate that over the last few years. Um, on a football field, the potential for whether intentional or non-intentional always exists. Um, always exists. Field awareness is a thing, and having your mind in the game is a thing that sometimes players get caught up in. So just got to make sure that don't happen to the Dallas Cowboys. And so real quick, um, I kind of went in a different order in which they have these. Real quick, I'm going to go through these, and then I'm going to sign off. Real quick, uh, 2018 kickoff rules will be permanent, so they're no longer a one-year experiment. Secondly, the league is completely abolished. It's completely abolishing the blindside hit. Any blindside hit anywhere on the field is a 15-yard penalty. Um, um, teams that have unsportsmanlike conducts in the end zone would now uh, have an opportunity to have their opponent either kick a longer PAT, or take it on the ensuing kickoff to try to flip the field position. And instant replay um, will be available for pass interference calls, either called or non-called, um, to include scoring plays, uh, turnovers by foul, and try attempts. So that's kind of where we are. And the last one, football acts, flagrant or non-flagrant, may result in disqualification, which means translation into ejection. Oftentimes also translates into fines and additional penalties. So definitely want to stay away from that. Cowboys Abroad. These are the 2019 uh, rule change rule changes that's been applied for the Dallas Cowboys. Stephen Jones is on the rule change committee, and so we actually have representation on this particular committee that makes these rule changes. Um, But I'm Cowboys Broad. I'm out. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Um, and whether you like the rules or don't like the rules, they are the rules. And this is coming directly from the NFL web page. So these are the official NFL rules for the 2019 system, 2019 system that has been approved. Like or not like, really is irrelevant. Um, we just got to play within the confines of the new rules. This Cowboys Broad. Thank you for watching. I'm out.